Richard Childress has stepped forward and broken his silence at last, and the surprising things he had to say about Cleetus McFarland are sending ripples of discussion all across the NASCAR world. While plenty of drivers were busy dishing out a tough time to him during the actual racing on the track, the veteran leader of RCR came out with a direct and honest message that almost nobody saw coming. Cleetus McFarland had secured his chance to take part in a real NASCAR event last weekend at Rockingham. The whole ordeal turned out to be anything but simple. He kept getting bumped and shoved aggressively by other competitors, and when everything finally ended, he admitted straight up that it stood as the toughest test he had ever gone through in his entire life. To pile on even more disappointment, Talladega then decided against letting him make his planned follow-up appearance. That mix of difficulties set off intense arguments among fans all over the internet, with lots of people left curious about where the big names inside NASCAR actually stood on everything that happened. Now Richard Childress has delivered his own unfiltered take. If people thought he would just pile on with the critics and shake his head in disappointment, they got it completely wrong. When Richard was asked directly for his full honest opinion about what went down at Rockingham on Saturday, he did not dodge the question or hold anything back. He made it plain right away that the whole idea had never started with him in the first place. Instead, it all kicked off when his driver Ty Dillon brought the suggestion to him. Richard jumped on board with it without any hesitation. In his own precise words, Ty Dillon came to me and talked about it, and I said, "What a great idea, not just for our CR but for our sport." Those statements show exactly how Richard Childress feels about the situation. He refused to treat the chance as some kind of cheap stunt or nothing more than a mere gimmick. He saw it instead as something that could bring real value to the entire racing scene. He continued by laying out exactly why he backed the plan. Richard stated, "Here Cleetus, which is Garrett, has like close to 5 million followers, and if we can get 10% of those new fans coming to races and looking at the racetrack because of Cleetus, even a small slice of that crowd is a huge number of brand new fans showing up." Richard made the point that Cleetus had already managed to pull in fresh people to Rockingham in person, and had also brought in extra new viewers who sat down to watch the race on television. Still, the race itself got rough and physical in quite a few spots. Some drivers showed hardly any leniency toward Cleetus out on the track, making contact with him again and again all through the event. Richard watched that treatment carefully, and he clearly did not like it one bit. He remarked, "He's a rookie, and I'm proud of what he did last week. He finished 4th in the ARCA race. He's raced, but he doesn't have the experience. I think some of the drivers are beating him up a little excessive because he's getting a lot of attention, probably." With that comment, Richard Childress basically sent a strong message to everyone else in the garage to back off the new guy a little. Cleetus is still fresh at this level. Every single driver in the sport began as a rookie sometime or another. There is no real reason to keep singling him out as a repeated target just because his presence is creating a lot of buzz and interest. Then came the loud voices criticizing from the internet. You know the kind, the ones leaving comments like, "Why does this guy even get to do this?" Richard has been around this sport long enough to know the smartest way to shut down those kinds of gripes. He answered by saying, "At least they're talking about you, right? You worry when they don't talk about you." That reply carries the sort of classic old-school racing wisdom that only decades of real experience can give you. When folks are getting worked up or complaining about somebody, it usually means that somebody is actually leaving a mark. The true problem shows up only when nobody even mentions your name anymore. Richard went on to speak positively about Cleetus as well. He stated that Cleetus did a great job overall. He truly loves the sport and his fans stand behind him because he is a real car guy deep down. When it came to any mistakes or slip-ups that happened during the race, Richard showed absolutely no worry at all. He explained, "I can't tell you how many mistakes previous drivers that I've had made when they very first started. So it's racing, I've seen them all come and go." Coming from a man who has watched so many rookies join his team across many decades, that viewpoint really means something. He is not annoyed or put off by Cleetus in any sense. In fact, he feels truly excited about how things are unfolding. He mentioned that watching Cleetus and seeing what he can do for NASCAR is what pumps him up right now. After the checkered flag came out at Rockingham, Cleetus spoke with total honesty to everyone listening. He described the race as the hardest thing he has ever done. Richard completely agreed with that honest take. He broke it down in straightforward language. He said, "When you step up, if you go from late model to trucks to Xfinity, every step is tougher and tougher and tougher, and I think you learn something from it." Then came the tough news that stung quite a bit. Cleetus had been excited about racing again soon, but Talladega would not be included in those plans for him. A lot of fans figured that Richard might just go along with the decision and keep quiet about it without saying much more. He went the other direction instead and held his ground. Richard declared, "I think you'll see Cleetus. We're going to get him in some more races along the way." He even pushed it further by shining a positive spotlight on Cleetus. He said, Cleetus is just a natural talent when it comes to being with the public and speaking for NASCAR. He brings all those numbers with him, surely a good thing. So even though Talladega had shut the door for the time being, Richard Childress is still working to keep doors open on his end. More races are being lined up. The whole experiment keeps rolling ahead. But there was one more serious subject that Richard could not ignore while he was talking. His own Cup Series team sits in a tough spot right now. Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch, the two drivers carrying the flag for RCR in the Cup Series, have been dealing with real struggles all through 2026. With Bristol coming up this weekend, everybody is eager to hear how he plans to turn the situation around. Richard refused to paint any fake hope or use gentle words. He stated plainly, "We hadn't been a season none of us had planned for sure. We're working hard at it." John Klossmeyer, his whole group, engineering, is working on it. "We're missing something, we got to find it." People said, "What is it?" "If we knew, we'd fix it, but we're working hard to figure it out." That kind of blunt honesty stands as about the most direct confession any team owner could give. He is basically admitting that RCR feels lost at the moment and no obvious fix has shown up yet. Even so, the whole organization keeps grinding every single day to hunt down the answers. Bristol offers no room for anyone to relax or take it easy. The track is short, tight, and incredibly hard on both the drivers and the cars. Even with that in mind, Richard showed some optimism, especially when he talked about Kyle Busch. He noted, "Bristol is a tough place, but if somebody can do it, Kyle can get out there and wheel it around that place for sure." He also shared the simple secret to making it at Bristol. He said, "You got to finish first. Bristol can be one of them tracks that'll take you out." Then he reminded people that RCR has put up some strong performances at that track in earlier years. He recalled, "We've loaded 3 of them on the record and we finished 1, 2, 3 there before." A 1, 2, 3 finish at Bristol is no small thing. Not many teams can claim that. Still, the updated car design that came in this season has been causing ongoing headaches for RCR. Richard admitted that the new body style has thrown them off a bit. He said, "This new car has threw us a little bit of a curve, this new body, but Hendrick seems to found some success with it and we're all going to get it. We're working hard together to get it up." So imagine the spot where Richard Childress stands these days. On one side, he is out there defending Cleetus McFarland against upset drivers, loud online critics, and even the fresh denial from Talladega. He keeps stressing that Cleetus stands for something good for NASCAR, and that more chances to race will come no matter who pushes back. On the other side, he is facing a Cup Series effort that is missing a key piece nobody has pinned down so far, all while getting ready for one of the roughest races on the entire calendar. Between stepping up to back Cleetus when almost everybody else wanted to tear him down, and grinding non-stop to pull his own team out of its present troubles, Richard Childress is dealing with more pressure than ever. And judging from the answers he gave this week, one thing comes through loud and clear. He is not backing away from his support for Cleetus, and he is not backing away from the hard work needed to solve the problems weighing on RCR.